You need a blockbuster credibility statement that summarizes who you are, why you are calling, and why speaking to their boss will change the world. Design is everything. By the way, you only have to design the one credibility statement because you use the same one on their boss. Welcome back to this weekly edition every Tuesday of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. I'm your host, Dr. Greg Story, President of Dale Carnegie Training Japan. We are broadcasting from the High Performance Center in downtown Minato-ku, the business center of Tokyo. Well, where is the cutting edge? For all of us, the quality of our people is the cutting edge for success in Japan. In this show, I will, 1, stimulate your thinking about ramping up your business. 2, bring you insights from the best training organization on the planet. 3, provide you with the highest quality Japan information. 4, motivate you to motivate yourself and motivate those around you. And 5, help you to shoot the lights out at results time. I don't want just to help you succeed. I want you to dominate. This is episode number 5, and we are talking about you can't call in Japan. Really? それでは行きましょう. So, let's get going. The pressure for increasing results is not constant. It just keeps surging higher, faster, further. The Japanese sales team do work hard. They are polite, conscientious, quite customer-focused. Great. So why can't we grow sales fast enough to meet our targets? What is the problem? There are some simple reasons. The sales pipeline is too thin with current customer numbers being too few. Current customer sales volumes are not growing. Current customer share of wallet is not changing. Sales will often blame marketing for not generating new leads for sales to go after. They will be surprisingly terrific advocates for all the reasons the customer puts on the table about not being able to buy it all, buy now or buy more. Blaming everyone else for insufficient sales volumes is a well-developed skill here in Japan, and everywhere else salespeople walk the earth. Helpfully, you pipe up with a shiny idea. What about going after new customers? At this point, marketing's lack of lead generation gets recycled as an excuse. Innocently, you mention the C word. Shock, horror, pity drains from the blood from the sales director's face. Don't you know, Story-san? This is Japan. You can't do cold calling here. Case closed. Having been through this scenario a number of times here, and having also seen plenty of cold calling getting done, skeptical doesn't even come close to describing my reaction to this useful intervention to explain the finer points of Japan to me. Walking into a new organization with a crystal clear recollection of salespeople in the previous company, phones taped to their wrists so they get through their cold calls, always concentrates the mind in these circumstances. What is usually meant is not that you can't physically cold call companies here, but just the effectiveness is so low, it's a major waste of time. This is too true when the cold calling is done poorly. Curiously, the same experts who tell you that you can't cold call except the Toby-Commie technique of just dropping in unexpectedly. Why suddenly turning up at a couple of companies and dropping off some business cards and literature in a day is thought to be more effective than sitting at the desk and calling 100 prospects a day is a quaint curiosity. This always reminds me of the same arguments you hear about you can't get referrals in Japan. Do you know anyone who might be interested in our widget? Must be one of the most criminal statements to ever escape from a salesperson's lips. The problem is when the way you ask is rubbish, don't be surprised with a pathetic result. Design is critical to increasing the success rate of cold calling and referrals. Amazingly, hardly any salespeople ever plan their conversations. They just sashay from one failure to another, wondering why this approach doesn't work. Cold calling works much better when we are very clear about the outcome we can expect to achieve. There are products and services you can sell over the phone. However, they are very, very, very few. The main aim should be securing a face-to-face appointment. That means you're only selling a date and time over the phone, nothing more. Before you even get to that point, you need to be speaking to the person who has the diary spot you want a piece of. There are armies of hapless young Japanese women occupying the bottom rungs of the machine whose only joy in life is getting rid of salespeople trying to see the decision maker. If you are really persistent, then they have this great technique of passing you over to the next most senior male in their section. Usually some spotty-faced, no authority, nobody, completely afraid of their own shadow, and seemingly able to go to retirement without ever having had to make a decision in their entire career. This is where you need a blockbuster credibility statement that summarizes who you are, why you are calling, and why speaking to their boss will change the world. Design is everything. By the way, you only have to design the one credibility statement because you use the same one on their boss. You might refer to some recent research you would like to share, which will be a big help to their business now and into the future. You should mention that you can't share it over the phone or whatever because you need to show it to them. This will head off the, well, tell me now or email it to me. Comebacks from the client. You might mention that you recently came across some ideas that seem to be working extremely well for others in their industry. If possible, mention actual numbers that you can later provide as concrete evidence when you meet. You need to refer to the cost of not speaking with you, the opportunity cost of not investing 30 minutes with you. Fear of loss is a strong driver of action in some, often more so than greed for gain. Only ever ask for 30 minutes. Less sounds flaky and more sounds burdensome. Asking for 18 minutes or 23 minutes, etc. sounds like you're a total con man, and warning lights and bells will go off in their head. If you can't convince them face-to-face in 30 minutes to hear more, stop wasting everyone's time and get off to the next prospect. Often you go into a short meeting because the prospect is super busy and has absolutely no time, can hardly even spare 15 minutes, and you find yourself discussing your solutions for the next 90 minutes. We need to combine the targeting of the companies with the discipline of the cold calling activity, and the design of what we are going to say. Get these working and you will be able to make contact with Japanese companies you currently have no relationship with, but who you know will benefit from your solution. If you believe strongly enough in your mission to help clients, then you can be totally brave when making these cold calls. The key is to ignore the naysayers and start. Keep pushing hard with us here at the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Subscribe on YouTube. Share it with your family, friends, and colleagues. Become a regular. Thank you for watching, and remember to hit the subscribe button. Our website details are on screen now. It's awesome value, so go and check it out. In episode 6, we are talking about middle management madness. Are they mad or not? Find out next week. So, yoroshiku onegai itashimasu. Please join me for the next episode of the Cutting Edge Japan Business Show. Until then, create seriously outrageous levels of massive success. Dale Carnegie Training has only one direction in mind for you, and that is up.